We're back. One Piece chapter 1048. I've missed you guys as well. I know. Like, Brago, where you been? We've been here, man. We've been here. One Piece is on hiatus. I took a short hiatus as well, but we're back. There's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things I've been thinking about. But for right now, we're just going to focus on 1048. Chapter 1048 is back. And quick disclaimer, this chapter is not a back chapter, meaning this chapter is not a chapter you would like for it to come back to. You know, there are some emotional moments that I will admit that I overlooked when I was reading because I was focused on other things, but after the reread, you understood it a bit more. For more people, the emotional things didn't hit for me personally, but I know for some people it did. However, we're gonna go through it. I'm gonna talk about what happened, how I feel about things that happened, and we're just gonna have a good time with it. Guys, how are you? I hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Summertime is coming. The weather is clearing up, at least on the East Coast. In Maryland, DC, Virginia, the DMV. Just want to say hello to you guys. Now, I know the people that came. Bro, talk about 1048. I need it. I got you. All right, I got you. First thing I want to talk about. I don't want to get too deep in the cover story because the cover story is juicy, but we save those for the breakdown, and I might have a special video planned on what's going on in the cover story right now. So all I'm gonna say is, what is the timeline in regards to what's going on? Somebody can answer that for me in the comment section. I plan on going to research it, but Cracker still has bandages on. It's funny because I talked about last time, the last review I did, I was like, oh my gosh, there are other people invading Whole Cake Island. Katakuri might lose again, right? Goddamn. People are like, what, Katakuri should be healed. Luffy's fine. Why shouldn't he be fine? Oh, Luffy's the main character. Cracker, it looks like bandages, I think. I mean, it's clear, right? It's not just his chest, either bandages or scars. I'm like, goddamn, who did you fight? Right? You fought Mr. One? So, Brule does think it is Reiju and Ichiji. Like, that was my first thought. So I don't think it's them. We'll talk about that later in the week. Now, let's focus on the chapter. Chapter starts off right where we left off. Luffy with his big punch, and you guys should know by now that that's not something that I really want to happen because I feel like Luffy versus Kaido, it needs a more satisfying conclusion. However, you know, when we think about them, we don't know exactly how things are going to play out, so we just have to wait and see. But I was like, I want something different, and Oda even said it. I know you guys have heard numerous times over the past 2 weeks, and I'm not even going to say it again. I'm hoping that's not the end. This chapter kind of made it seem like it's not, to be honest. However, it's Luffy still talking about Momonosuke and asking him to move Onigashima, right? It's like, it's so weird. Asking this kid to move this island is like, yo, move your shoes out the way. That's how Luffy's saying it. I'm like, are you okay? Like, he's a kid. Okay, well, he's not a kid, but he is mentally. Momonosuke, however, is trying his darndest, right? He's ramming himself into it. He's thinking of his parents and thinking of everything that he has on his shoulders because he is responsible for restoring the Kozuki clan. And, you know, I think the kid can do it, man. I think he can, clearly. But this is a build-up. And then we jump straight to Luffy versus Kaido, and this fight so far, to say it's all over the place is an understatement, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's one of those fights that, it's Luffy's fight, so you know you're gonna go back and forth with certain things. But I don't understand Kaido yet. We need to know more. There's something missing. Like, he's talking now that he's willing to prove to Luffy that this isn't much. Like, he's gone to his, I'm dubbing it, his ultimate magma form, right? His Akainu form, Sakazuki form, right? Where he's now a magma dragon, it seems like. But then he goes into, he says, yo, Luffy, did you hear that the hero from 20 years ago burned to death? I'm not sure if that's why he chose that form, to drive his point home. Like, hey, this guy burned to death. I'm gonna turn into a hot dragon. Or maybe it's just to be antagonistic, which he seems to like to be, to bring the best out of you because he wants entertainment city. Shout out to Guild Tesoro. Maybe not so much because I didn't like Film Gold that much. Either way, he's a flaming drum dragon. Now, we got some context, and apparently means blazing dragon torch, and it's from a Rakuga tale. I'm sorry, I'm not well versed in Japanese lore. Somebody can expound upon it. I welcome you in the comment section. I might pin you. Probably not. Either way, Kaido at this point is so hot, so freaking fine. He's just hot. Luffy can't touch him. Luffy's like, oh my God, it's hot. This reminds me of, I think the last time Luffy reacted in a way like that was maybe versus Katakuri, but it wasn't that it was hot. It was like, oh, my hand hurts from Katakuri's hockey. Not the same thing, just an excuse to bring up Katakuri. I'll move on now. But Kaido's saying, no, let go. I assure you, I will not run. Which speaks to Kaido's confidence in himself. Kaido's taking that beating because it hasn't been that bad, let's be honest, in Gear 5. And he's like, this kid's strong, but I think I can take him, right? And he's going to take Luffy's punch head on, which he doesn't have to do. Just full disclosure, I don't like when villains do that. Why take an attack that you don't have to? And Kaido, we've seen in the past, he's dodged attack that he attacks or an attack that he didn't want to take, no attacks, because he dodged the lightning bolt and stuff like that. So it's like, why take this attack? But you can't change a person completely. Kaido, at the end of the day, pride, strength, that's what he banks on. So for him, okay, I'm going to take this attack that seems to be your strongest attack yet. I'm going to take it head on, and I'm going to turn into a magma dragon and train you for when you fight Akainu. I know people are going to be super upset when I say that. I'm going to make a video with that title, so be prepared to be even more mad when I say Kaido is training Luffy for Akainu. What the fuck? Either way, I think it's cool that Kaido's turning into magma, right? How deep is this bag? Is this Coach? Is this Michael Kors? No, it's a duffel bag. It's really endless. The things that he can do, the abilities he has, how durable he is, how physically strong, how fast. He has future sight. I mean, Kaido continues to just impress me on a level that few characters have impressed me in One Piece. And you know, right now it's just solely combat wise. As a character, there are great things that you can point out, strong points about the character. Like, you know, there's strong points about Kaido that I really enjoyed, and things about Kaido that I need some more clarity on. But so far, so good. And I think that's the whole purpose. Like Oda, he structured this arc around Kaido. Of course, Big Mom was a huge part of the arc, but the arc throughout, you felt like it was Kaido's. At no point did Big Mom overshadow Kaido in Wano. There were times where she used, you know, her sentient lightning and she was doing things, but it just felt like, yeah, that's cool, but let's get back to Kaido, right? Even Roof Piece, Kaido was getting the brunt of the attacks, and Big Mom was somewhat just supporting him, like somewhat of a side character, which is weird because she's a very big woman. How can something that big be on the side? But that's what happened. I don't know. That felt mean. Sorry, Big Mom. Either way, this is Flashback City. We got some flashbacks that personally I was like, I remember that. That doesn't, you know, but the Rio flashback where Luffy confirms, hey, something is too hot, something's too, I don't have to make contact with you, which is something we talked about in the past on the channel. You guys may or may not remember. I talked about Luffy fighting Magellan, this Haki, when we talked about Rio, did a whole breakdown of Rio. Maybe I need to do that again, because Rio is one of the more confusing things in One Piece. And there are quite a few things in One Piece that are confusing because it's so long and over a span of over 2 decades, things get lost in translation, especially with different translations, different people translating. However, to bring it back, Luffy can attack people like this without making contact. So for Luffy attacking someone like Akainu, the magma technically should not affect him because he has something like Rio. We're not going to get too deep into the power scaling thing, but I thought that was very important for Oda to talk about, because this is how top tiers, like when we talk about in the last chapter with Roger being the pinnacle of Haki, as far as we know so far, because he was the Pirate King with no devil fruit. This is how he combats people that, like Whitebeard, who have freaking quakes. Him using advanced Haki, advanced coding, whatever, he can basically attack you without touching you. So it does help immensely when it comes to fighting people like Akainu, maybe Kizaru, Aokiji, Magellan for sure, people that you typically probably shouldn't touch. It does a great job at that. So splendid. I like London. I like to go and shop at the... Anyway, what was that tangent about? I have no idea. We did have a confirmation of something, and you guys can spam W's in the chat like I'm streaming or something. It somewhat did confirm that Hanuman is a part of this. And I know when I made the Hanuman video, of course, I said, not mine. I did add a few things onto it, but shout out to the people who brought up Hanuman in the first place. I was like, yo, this is probably the one that I'm really feeling, right? And people are like, oh, Hanuman in the mud, resin in the mud, blah, 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 whatever. It was somewhat confirmed, right? But this also confirms that you probably should sub to the channel, right? You basically got spoiled, right? You got spoiled through a video. But no, what happens though, people think they're subscribed, they look down, oh shit, bro, I'm not subscribed, let me subscribe to the channel. Just do that, right? Do that. I would certainly appreciate it, and drop a like if you are already subscribed. And now let's move on and talk about Luffy with his Hindu mythological attack. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but Bajrangan versus the Blazing Bagua. Kaido's not very creative with his attack names, is he? However, it's a power struggle. It's a typical anime shonen. 2 characters come with super big attacks, and now it's like a power struggle for 2 chapters. Either way, I think Luffy versus Kaido, it is dwindling, right? In regards to my, I want to say interest. I think my peak was obviously 1043, 1044 with Sun God confirmed, Luffy Gear 5, Kaido Blitz. It was whoa. But now it's kind of slowed down. It's become more big attack versus big attack. Now we're struggling, you know, Budokai to Kamehameha. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys, what the f is wrong with this guy? Okay, I guess we can talk about the flashbacks really quickly, where it is putting some more things into context. Again, we're going back to Odin being being killed, and the Scabbards, they're getting away to, you know, go to Toki and save Momonosuke. And Orochi, he saw it coming. Orochi's a fairly wise guy, where he's aware of things, right? Even with the 20-year thing, he used to talk about it and people like laugh at him. He had an idea, right? But he's a bad person. He is horrid, despicable, nasty. The people of Wano are downtrodden. That's my word of the day, downtrodden. They have been abused by this person. Not only Orochi, Kaido is not absolved of any blame whatsoever, because he's a person doing it, because he's the one that can enforce it, because no one's really scared of Orochi. It's all about Kaido. Even in the chapter, like, damn you, Orochi, if this big motherfucking dragon wasn't here. You know, it's all about Kaido, and Orochi, he knows that. That's why he's so confident in his abilities, I guess. It adds some new things. It tells us about the daimyo of Ringo, that they really never had a chance against Kaido, but we knew that. But it's bringing things to light, letting us know that they didn't do anything. They are noble people that didn't give it a second thought. I wish they were there fighting with Odin, but they're people that, hey man, we don't have to think about this. We can go at it right now, even in the face of someone as powerful as Kaido. The emotion, where it comes from at least, is showing you how Wano dwindled. The water, the environment, everything went to crap once they started making weapons. And for Kaido choosing Wano and doing this to the people of Wano, a lot of this seems personal. I can't wait to get Kaido's history. I said it all the time. The Oni, how these people tie into Wano, you know, just why he chose Wano, which is heavily implied, by the way. Like, he chose it for a reason, because it was Wano. Man, this chapter, coming off of a break, is not the typical chapter, because it's trying to hit on the emotional peaks in regards to continuity of the previous chapter. But we had a break week, so it's hard to follow that line of emotional, I guess, being emotional, right? It's almost like the end of Avengers Endgame, right? Before a lot of things go down, we get like, oh, it's cutting it off at the end, the final fight, in the middle of the fight, before that thing happens. Then we come back and it's like, oh man, that sucks, but this was a year ago. Of course, that's a bit extreme, because this was a week, 2 weeks, but it's still, right? It's different. Like, once we reread Wano in its entirety, this chapter is going to hit a lot differently. I promise you it will, for me and for others. And it's important things, and I know it's just buzzwords we throw around. It just felt like a slow chapter. Again, post-break week, the emotional payoff, it's just one of those chapters that's necessary. Absolutely necessary chapter. I call the Denjiro thing. I'm sure other people did as well. It was the most obvious thing that Oda was doing. Hiding Denjiro for him, for his one shining moment on the top of the rooftop, just watching Hiyori. I'm going to wait until she's in a position in which I can actually help her. He comes down like Batman, like a knight in shining armor. Orochi, you will no longer hurt Hiyori. Here's the thing, I don't have an issue with it. It's just like, where the fuck were you? You know, people were fighting for their lives, and you're on the top of the mountain like Batman, just watching Yuri, waiting for the right moment. Oda's gonna probably explain what happened. That's just what it feels like right now. And even my prediction video, I said more than likely, or even before my prediction video, I said Denjiro, or Oda, is saving Denjiro to be the one to save Hiyori, because he has to be the one to do it, because he was literally protecting Hiyori from Orochi right under his nose and his whiskers and stuff. So necessary. The lantern saying make Orochi disappear, it was a nice touch. Not gonna lie, nice touch. I mean, like, give me a little feeling, you know. But ends with Luffy versus Kaido, power struggle, you know, Kamehameha, Gauntlet gun. They're just going at it right now. And so the next chapter we wait. Overall, necessary chapter. You guys let me know. How do you feel about it? How the emotional payoff, how did it do for you? It didn't do anything for me in this chapter. However, there are moments where I was like, okay, I get it. Again, because of the break. That break, man. I've said it before, reading Dressrosa, reading Whole Cake Island, all these different arcs throughout, all the way through, as opposed to week, completely different experience. Right? But either way, make sure to like the video. If you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost.